Good evening, everyone. Mike Palmer from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International with another very important live video update tonight. Now, we've got a little bit of a mixed bag this evening, a number of articles that cover a range of different topics. So let's get straight into it. First and foremost, we need to look at, obviously, the situation in the Middle East, and of course the potential ramifications for us here in Australia and our friends across the ditch in New Zealand. Now, before I get into this, I do want to make it crystal clear that I'm not here to discuss the politics of anything that's going on over there in any way. I just want to talk about the impact that it could actually have on us here and just certain things that people need to be aware of. So this is the article that I urge people to have a look at. Again, I haven't covered the whole thing, but these are the main points if anyone's interested. It's entitled Australia's Economic, Strategic and Social Stability on the Line as Middle East War Looms. As the Middle East teeters on the brink of all-out war, attention is turning to the grim consequences we could face right here in Australia. Then there's a little subheading called Analysis, and it says, watch the price at the Bowser and on groceries. Then there's the imported electronics, cars, building materials, and don't forget insurance. These are where the Israel-Iran conflict will strike home the hardest. What does the ballooning Middle East war have to do with life in Australia? In our deeply interconnected modern world, pretty much everything. And that means Australia's economic, strategic and social stability is on the line. The first hints of the global fallout of the looming Israel-Iran war flashed around the world this morning. Oil prices surged. It goes on to say, combined, both moves represent an escalation the world has been fearing since Hamas launched its surprise terror raids deep inside Israel on October 7th last year. The consequences are yet to be understood, but it comes at a delicate time for Australia. Interest rates are poised to go either up or down. Any improvement to the far-reaching cost of living crisis depends on falling fuel costs. They've then got another subsection on economic impact. They talk about the effect this has already had on the stock market. They go, of course, into the effect that it's had on oil prices and also on gold prices as well. So this is something to keep in mind. And once again, it just may be a good time just to grab a few extra jerry cans, stock up on a little bit of fuel. At least that way you've secured some fuel at some of the lower prices if they do, go through the roof. And not only that, but you've also got some in supply just in case those supply chains are affected in some way. Now, of course, if you do have the means to purchase some gold or silver, it could be a great way to secure some additional funds rather than keeping them in the banks, which of course we don't recommend. And it could actually end up making you some money as well if the prices do take off as they're suggesting. So just some things for people to keep in mind. Now, speaking of global news, there was an article came out just the other week about a global study on these wonderful 15-minute cities. So if that's of interest to you or of concern, which it should be to everybody, I urge you to have a look at this article. So this is entitled, Global Study Shares List on Best and Worst 15-Minute Cities as Experts Weigh In. No Australian cities made up the list of the top 15-minute cities, which included over 10,000 locations around the world. So this, of course, is very, very positive news. Being able to get to work, the shops, schools, healthcare, work and parks on bicycle, public transport or on foot within 15 minutes is the dream life, according to these Muppets. But new research shows Australian cities are falling behind, making the 15-minute city a reality. Thank God for small mercies. A new international study has explored which cities across the world could be considered 15-minute cities. The 15-minute city is an urban planning concept that has developed over the past 5 years as a way of combating urban sprawl and diminishing quality of life among city residents, as well as tackling emissions. all a load of rubbish. But in a new study published by Nature Cities, a Sony Computer Science Laboratories research team in Italy looked at 10,000 cities from around the world to examine how close they were to the standard, and the results were mixed. Cities such as Geneva, Paris and Berlin all fell within the ideal times, as shown in this interactive world map, and there's a little map there that you can click on if you're interested. No Australian cities made the 15-minute cut. However, Hobart came close at 16 minutes, with Brisbane falling at the other end of the list as the worst time city at 25 minutes. So go the banana benders. For Australian cities, they tend to be more diffused, where European cities, for example, are more dense and compact. Very important point, which I'll come back to in a moment. We have cities with sprawling suburbs on the outside, and we don't have the density of people there. Correct. Population density and the number and frequency of services available to us are the main contributing factors to a 15-minute city, they say. So, this is all very positive news. Now, of course, we all know that these 15-minute cities are all ultimately all about controlling the population and have little to nothing to do with any actual beneficial motives. So it is very refreshing to see that for once Australia is not currently being used as the guinea pig for the rest of the world, as is usually the case, and I've explained that on many videos before. Now, again, it's very interesting to note that they specifically point out that the Australian cities are more spread out and less densely populated, which of course is one of the primary reasons that EVs, electric vehicles, are really not suitable to most people here. Now, if you needed any more reasons not to buy an EV, in addition to all the other reasons that we've covered over many of these video updates and of course our radio shows already this year, then check out this latest article, which actually claims that Chinese EVs could actually be spying on people. So again, if this is of interest or concern to you, I urge you have a look at this article. It is entitled, "Why Your Chinese Electric Car Could Be Spying on You." The West is increasingly worried about Chinese parts being used in electric vehicles. The car was 12 miles away, but the hackers may as well have been inside it. Over a wireless connection, the small group was able to unlock the Tesla Model S's doors, open its boot, while in motion, and most concerningly, activate the brakes, all completely remotely. The demonstration from security researchers at the Chinese technology company Tencent was no more than that. The Tesla vulnerability was not used on the road, and the company fixed the problem. But when disclosed 8 years ago, imagine the advances in hacking technology in the last 8 years. When disclosed 8 years ago, it was seen as a worrying sign. You think? That as cars became increasingly technologically sophisticated, with critical functions controlled by centralized computer systems, they also became more vulnerable. Since then, hacking cars has become a regular stunt at cybersecurity conferences. But there is a growing fear that they will not even have to be hacked. What if vehicles could be controlled not by cyber criminals, but by hostile states? Last week, the Biden administration raised the alarm about the growing prevalence of Chinese components in electric and future self-driving vehicles, as it outlined plans to ban components with a sufficient nexus to China. The US Department of Commerce said it planned to prohibit Chinese parts related to vehicle connectivity and automated driving, saying that malicious access could allow enemies to remotely manipulate cars on American roads. And of course, it's not just limited to American roads. It could be Australian roads, European roads, Asian roads, all the rest of it. Cars today have cameras, microphones, GPS tracking, and other technologies connected to the internet. It doesn't take much imagination to understand how a foreign adversary with access to this information could pose a serious risk to both our national security and the privacy of US citizens. So, I mean, this is pretty damning evidence, and it is something that should be of concern to anybody who might be considering purchasing an electric vehicle. Now, there was another similar article that came out just last week that actually showed that millions of cars could be hijacked using just a license plate number. So again, I urge you all to check out this article. I've only got some of the key points here. They are much longer articles, and they do have some really fascinating information in them. So this one is entitled, How Hackers Could Have Remotely Controlled Millions of Cars. A website flaw, since patched, enabled these researchers to remotely track a car's location, unlock its doors, honk the horn, and start the engine. Car owners, are you sitting down? Cybersecurity researchers recently reported a flaw in a website operated by automaker Kia that enabled them to remotely control key functions of millions of cars. In June, the researchers found vulnerabilities affecting Kia vehicles that allowed remote control over key functions using only a license plate. Their report reveals they were able to remotely track a car's location, unlock its doors, honk the horn, and start the engine. On certain Kia models, they were even able to activate the camera from a distance. The researchers told Wired this exploit was accessed through a flaw in a web portal operated by Kia, which gave the team access to all of the internet-based features in the manufacturer's cars. This person, Mr. Curry, posted a YouTube video that showed him hacking into a 2022 Kia EV6 with a custom app called Kia Tool. He first enters the car's license plate number and US state to obtain its VIN, vehicle identification number. Once all data is obtained, Curry goes to the Garage tab, hits unlock, and presto, the doors are open. In addition to providing access to controlling vehicles, the web portal flaw also gave hackers a ton of personal information about Kia customers, including names, phone numbers, home addresses, and past driving routes. Okay? Do you really want people to be able to access all of this information? Okay? This is my question to you, and it's very, very simple. Do you honestly think that with all of the prevalence of cyber attacks and other kinds of hacks that we've heard about, especially over the past few years, that these types of EV attacks or EV hacks, whatever you want to call them, are going to occur more often or less often? I mean, seriously, the answer is pretty obvious. Okay? And again, here's the point. Why would you even take the risk when this is simply not even an issue with these older ICE cars, as they like to call them, internal combustion engines? Okay? Look, as with anything in life, technology can be a great tool, okay, but it can also create more issues and problems. And listen, given that EVs really aren't suited to Australian conditions anyway, and now they have all of these other associated issues, on top of all the battery issues that we've spoken about many times, why would you even bother? Okay, that's the question people should be genuinely and honestly asking themselves. Now, it's very interesting that the closing lines of that article that I just read out refer to all of the personal details of the vehicle owners that were also able to be accessed, which of course is yet another concern on top of all of the others. And this follows on to our next article, which all tradies need to be made aware of. So please, if you or anyone that you know is a tradie in this country, please make sure you look up this article so that you are aware of this latest data hack. Nearly 40,000 Aussie tradies at risk after major data leak in hardware chain. Credit card numbers, email addresses, and other login details have been compromised. Hardware chain Total Tools has suffered a major data leak that is believed to have affected 38,000 tradies, with credit card numbers, email addresses, and other login details compromised. The leak is believed to have been perpetrated by professional cyber hackers, with Total Tools parent company Metcash discovering the issue earlier this week. Total Tools contacted some of their customers to notify them of the leak with recommendations of how they can keep their sensitive information safe. You know how to keep your sensitive information safe? Don't shop online with credit cards. Use cash at every opportunity. Go into the store, hand over the cash. That's it. Very simple. Speaking to The Australian on Thursday, Total Tools Chief Executive Richard Murray confirmed the incident but said he believed the cause of the leak had been fixed. How about I'm absolutely certain? Otherwise, I'm not interested in shopping there. The cyber incident has illegally compromised certain personal information. However, Total Tools is confident that the cause of the incident has been removed from its website. Confident? I'm sorry, I want a little bit more than confidence when you're dealing with my name, my phone number, my credit card details. Come on. The data that has been illegally compromised includes customer name, email addresses, Total Tools password, mobile number, shipping address, and credit card details of customers who shopped or registered on our website recently. I mean, holy moly. In addition to contacting impacted customers, Total Tools has also implemented several additional cyber security measures to minimize the likelihood of this occurring again. Not to eliminate it, just to minimize it. I mean, is this good enough for you as a tradie, really? Australia has recorded its highest number of data breaches in almost 4 years, according to a new report released just days ago. In the 6 months to June 2024, there was a 9% spike in breaches reported to the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner, which said that current safety and security measures were not enough. There were 527 data breaches between just January and June this year. 527 breaches. The notifiable data breaches report found, and the OAIC said, this is the highest number of notifications since July to December 2020. Okay? This should be of concern to everybody. Okay? So please, if you ever needed another reason to use cash at every single opportunity, there it is. Okay? Cash doesn't crash. Cash can't be hacked. It's just that simple. Now, speaking of cash, as I've mentioned on the last few video updates that I've done, the powers that be are doing everything possible to try and issue as many traffic fines as possible to simply raise as much money as possible. And believe it or not, their latest trick is they're now trialing, okay, get this, noise cameras right here in Australia just to try and make more money. So again, I urge everyone, no matter what state you are in Australia, read this. It's being rolled out in New South Wales, but rest assured, okay, if it's found to be effective, and by effective I mean effective at making money in New South Wales, it will be rolled out across every other state as well. Mark my words. So, this is entitled, Aussie Drivers Put on Notice as New High-Tech Roadside Cameras Rolled Out. Popular in major global cities such as London, Paris and New York, these cameras will now target hoon drivers and noisy vehicles in New South Wales. Brand new roadside cameras are about to be rolled out in Australia's most populous state in what authorities say is a fresh bid to stamp out hoon driving. Now keep that phrase in mind, hoon driving, as we go through this. In a multi-agency effort, New South Wales Police, Transport for New South Wales and the Environment Protection Agency, EPA, will roll out the new cameras by the end of the year using methods popular in major global cities like New York, Paris and London. According to the state government, the cameras will target antisocial behaviour and in particular noisy vehicles. As it stands, fines of up to $600 are in place for individual offenders, but a noise reading will still need to be taken while a vehicle is stationary. So please, how can you be hooning if the vehicle is stationary? Can somebody please explain that to me? Because I just don't get it. Noise cameras are an emerging technology, and the trial will evaluate the effectiveness and accuracy of the equipment and the resources required to use noise cameras for regulatory purposes in New South Wales. They've then got a little subheading saying New South Wales councils among first in country to trial new camera technology. The trial is set to kick off in the New South Wales councils of Bayside and Wollongong to allow the EPA to evaluate the resources required to use noise cameras for regulatory purposes. The new tech will use noise cameras to pick up sounds above a certain decibel limit, within a distance of just over 15 metres, while cameras zoom to scan licence plates and catch offenders. Wollongong councillor Richard Martin backed the move and said fines were crucial to measure the camera's impact. Why are fines crucial to measure the camera's impact? Why don't the cameras just run on a trial basis like every other camera when they're first rolled out and just see how many vehicles they detect? Why are the fines necessary? Okay, because they want to make money. Why do they want to make money? Well, hang on, I'll get to that right now. So far, 4 cameras have been purchased for the trial, with each one estimated to cost $50,000. Okay? According to the ABC, Yahoo News has sought comment for Transport New South Wales over the figure. As yet, there's been no response. What do you know? Isn't that convenient? Okay? Now, we all know that our government doesn't invest, okay, in technology unless they can see a substantial return on that investment happening. So this is quite clearly just another blatant revenue-raising exercise, and has absolutely nothing to do with any road safety initiatives or anything of the like. Now, of course, all of those fines from those cameras absolutely can and should indeed be very easily challenged, as all other unjust and unlawful fines are, because they would need to be able to prove, of course, the testing and traceability of those devices. They'd need to prove that those photographs that the cameras took could not have been altered or tampered with, and of course any legislation that would need to be enacted to make the use of those cameras actually valid would need to show that it's been enacted lawfully under a valid head of power, which, as I've said many times before, simply hasn't existed since 1973. So please, if you are in any way, shape or form worried about those fines, or indeed any other fines, please make sure you grab a copy of that Aussie Speeding Fines book, and in particular refer to that tried, tested and proven 3-step process from chapter 3 of that book. Again, as always, you'll find a link in the description. Do keep in mind these guys have been around for 17 years now, so you know that their information works. Now, should you want any further proof that their information works, here is the latest testimonial that was sent through to the guys at Aussie Speeding Fines. This is from Michael, who says, hi guys, thanks for your previous help. Regarding the first hearing for 2 of 7 traffic tickets, it appears as though I may have gotten off of the first 2 tickets on a technicality. After pleading not guilty to parking in a school zone and parking on a yellow line, the Manly court sent an email stating the prosecutor wished to withdraw as the enforcing officer has moved interstate. This may be very true, and the time delay and court system weaknesses has benefited me. Yay, thanks for all your help. So there it is in black and white, yet another case. Now, I spoke to one of our long-term members on the phone just today. He shared a fascinating case with me. He did send the actual court report. It was a little bit late for me to print out tonight, but how's this for a story? He got a parking fine. He elected to have it go to court. And in this case, it was actually a little bit different. The parking inspector that issued the fine had moved interstate, but this particular council was so hell-bent on going after this guy that they flew the parking inspector down to the court case, and it just so happened that this particular guy forgot that the case was on that day. So the prosecutor's on the phone to him saying, hey, are you coming to court today? He's like, oh, no, very sorry. I actually forgot that it was today. My bad. Didn't turn up. Of course, the court has ruled in his absence and convicted him of the fine. Of course, As we know, you cannot be convicted in absentia. We've got cases on our court cases page that refer to that. You can't be convicted ex parte. So, of course, he's appealed. He's gone to the county court. He's turned up in the county court today, and the police prosecutor said, listen, mate, the council's actually withdrawing that fine, so they're not going to proceed with it at all. So imagine how much that would have cost them to fly the parking inspector down from interstate, only to ultimately drop it on appeal. And again, we are hearing more and more and more of these cases. And again, on the next video, I will be providing a print off of that county court record, which proves categorically that yes, he was convicted, yes, he got a fine, and then it was dismissed. So as always, we do prove all of those testimonials as well. So again, if you don't yet have that Aussie Speeding Fines book, please, there's a link in the description. Do make sure you get it, because it absolutely works 100% just as we say it does. All right, the final thing that I want to remind everyone about tonight, if you haven't yet done so, please check out the website www.binthebill.au. binthebill.au. Just type it directly into your browser, and please make sure you add your signature to the petition. So there it is there. Bin the bill. It's got you'll see these little squares on that page which explain why we need to put a stop to this misinformation and disinformation bill. We covered it on our last radio show in detail. I covered it on the last video update. If you haven't seen those, please go back and watch them. But do make sure that you jump on that website and you do add your signature, and let's put an end to this insane misinformation and disinformation bill. All right, as always, I do want to finish off with some more great memes to show people what's going on at the moment. But I do have yet another testimonial to share with everybody here, and it's in a couple of sections here. So I'm just going to read quickly from the bottom up. So this is from a gentleman by the name of Saxon, who wrote to the BSR guys, the Bank Secrets Revealed. So this is in relation to that book there. And he's just going, oh, yeah, hi, thanks to you guys, I managed to wipe a credit card debt with Westpac. And they've written back, yeah, that's great news. If you could share a few more details with us so we can use as a testimonial to help inspire others to do the same. It says, yes, it was a $25,000 credit card debt, monthly repayments of $500 for the next 17 years. My circumstances changed and I could no longer afford it. So there's the details there. So please, if you've got one of these unsecured loans, a personal loan, a credit card, please stop throwing good money after bad at those loans. Grab that book, refer to that 4-step tried, tested, and proven true process, okay? And you can eliminate those with just a few letters. All right, so on to some memes. Now, this one's actually a post that was put up on Telegram. Now, I have spoken about this before, but this has just come into effect, and this is just a clear example of how absolutely insane the world has gone right now. So as it says here, in Britain from Tuesday, 1st of October, so just the other day, it will be a criminal offence to keep a chicken without registering it with the authorities. So this person's come up with quite an ingenious idea. It says, so everyone, register that you have a chicken. Overload the system. If everyone has a chicken, if everyone has a chicken registered, how will they check? I've just registered mine. I'll tell them that it died next week. If you have one in the freezer, register that. Especially if you have a pet budgie or parrot that identifies as a chicken. Even the cat or dog can qualify. If you have a mental illness, you could have an imaginary chicken pet friend. Welcome to the Bonkers UK. Okay, so yeah, this is nuts. And again, if it's happened in the UK, you can rest assured it will filter down through the rest of Europe and probably come to Australia as well. They want to control the food supply, therefore they want to know everyone who has control of food to stop them from using it for their own benefit. Yes, good old climate change. Obviously, there's only so much I can say on these videos without the good old fact checkers chiming in to censor things, but as it says there, what an idiot. Noah builds an ark when he could have just paid more taxes to stop climate change. Yes, I'm sure a lot of you, I certainly hope that a lot of you who are watching this video can relate to this, and you do certainly miss the old days, whereas it says, logic and facts were more important than feelings and delusions, which seem to be rife in the woke world that we live in at the moment. And I'm going to leave you with this one because I do like this one, and I hope many of you can relate to this, because as it says there, okay, is it the end of the world? No, honey, it's just the end of the illusion. And we are seeing lots of things happening on a global scale at the moment. There's a lot of panic, there's a lot of unrest, there's a lot of concern. But really all this is just the end of the illusion. The illusion is breaking down. The lies, the deceit, the falsities that we've all been forced to live under for so long are all slowly but surely starting to crumble away. So do keep that in mind as you keep hearing of all these things occurring over the coming weeks and months, which I'm sure are only going to escalate as that collapse continues to happen. So I'm going to leave things there for tonight. As always, I do urge you to make use of all the resources that are available to you to please get informed, get fired up, and get proactive. We do need that this year more than ever before. As always, these videos are completely free to watch on our BitChute channel, our YouTube channel, and of course on the videos tab on our Facebook page. We've got tons of completely free information on our website and the other websites that we recommend. Again, you'll find links in the description. Our radio shows, again, live every second week. We'll be back live on air again this Tuesday night. Just go to the radio show tab, click on the big black listen live button. Now, please be aware, of course, that this Sunday here in Victoria, we do go to daylight savings time. So if you are in Queensland, or I think WA, which doesn't observe daylight savings time, please make sure that you adjust your listening time accordingly. Of course, we're on air live between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. and that is Melbourne daylight savings time. Again, completely free to listen to those radio shows. If you've missed any of the past radio shows, you want to listen to the podcast, you can join up as a podcast member for less than $5 a week. You get all of the notes for each show, the podcast with all the music edited out. You also get the transcript for each show as well, so plenty of information there for podcast members. If you want to go above and beyond that, of course, we do have our book, The Essential Step-by-Step Manual for Understanding and Exercising Your Rights. It is a fantastic read, especially for people who are new to some of these topics. Do be sure to grab that. That step-by-step manual for challenging all manner of unjust and unlawful fines. And again, the step-by-step manual for challenging all unsecured loans, that's your credit cards, personal loans, things like that, is the Bank Secrets Revealed book. Again, there's links to in the description to all of these individually. You can purchase them all as part of the combo pack. You do get our Know Your Rights tote bag included completely free of charge as a bonus. Don't forget, we do have our caps and beanies. We've had some warmer weather slowly but surely coming out now, so grab those caps and beanies. People see the logo, they come up, they have a chat. Great way to meet like-minded people. Don't forget some of our other products, our mouse mats, our USB files. So if you want to convert all of our CDs and DVDs to a USB, it'll work on USB-A and USB-C. For Macs, PCs, we have those. And of course, we've got those USB, CD and DVD drives that you just plug into any computer to transfer everything over onto USB. You'll find all of those on the products and shop pages. Just a heads up, our boot camp is now fully booked, so we're looking forward to seeing everybody up on the Gold Coast next weekend, not this weekend of course, but the following weekend. If anyone missed any of our live events for whatever reason during the year, please do be sure to grab a copy of our home study course. It is of course a complete recording of one of our 2.5-day live events. There's 3 custom-made workbooks, 17 DVDs that you can pause, rewind, fast forward in the comfort of your own home, and it is a great resource tool that you'll come back to again and again. And of course, don't forget, if you need more information above and beyond any of these products, we do have our one-on-one coaching services available as well, and again, you'll find those on the products and shop pages. So I'm going to leave things there. We will of course be back on the radio on Tuesday night. We'll be back with our next live video update next Thursday night. Until then, have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Take care.